You know that your emotions might be getting a little out of whack and a little difficult to manage when you find yourself getting angry at a bird. That's right. I once got mad at a bird. And what happened was is I saw this bird and the bird was walking across a street. And there was traffic and it was a bird and it was walking in the street and I remember just like looking at this and it frustrated me so much because I'm like, what are you doing walking in the street, bird? You could fly. What kind of animal that could fly would choose to walk? And in that moment of frustration, I mean, all these thoughts were going on in my brain like, why would you walk when you could fly? But then I'm also thinking, why are you walking on a street? I mean, not only are you choosing to walk instead of fly, but this is dangerous and this is problematic. And I'm looking at this bird as traffic is approaching it, but I don't see any worry on the bird's face. I don't seem to see any concern. It doesn't look like the bird is injured or tired. And then right at the last moment, as the car was about to hit the bird just flew off. And I had this kind of like, aha, oh, just because you can fly doesn't mean you're always going to fly. Or maybe even you should. I'm not sure. But what really struck me the most was the bird didn't seem to have a care in the world. You know, Jesus talked about the birds. He said, consider the lilies of the field, consider the birds of the air. They're not worried about what they're going to eat or where they're going to live, but God provides for them. And yet in this life, we get really concerned and really wrapped up about provision and what we want, what we think we need. And we start to take matters into our own hands. And instead of turning to our God, my God as my source and my provision, I start to look to my own abilities. And I start to go my own way to get my own things. And in that, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of danger, there's a lot of risk and a lot of peril. So maybe if I would just consider the birds who have the ability to fly when needed or to walk or rest or not be alarmed or concerned or worry or upset. You know, the dangers in this world can be real, but if I look to God as my provision, I love what it says in Isaiah 40. It says, those who put their hope in the Lord will have their strength renewed. So when I start to feel wearied and worn out, it's probably because I'm looking to take matters into my own hands and do my own thing, achieve my own provision and be my own source. But if I put my hope in the Lord, He will renew my strength. If I put my hope in Him and His ability and His provision and His resources instead of my limitations, then my strength is renewed. And there's a great confidence in that. Not an egotistical kind of confidence because it's not in myself. It's in Him. And so I know that confidence is real and it's valid and it's true. And while some danger may approach, I can always soar. It goes on to say right after that they will, those who renew their strength in the Lord by putting their hope in Him, that they will soar on wings like eagles. It says that they will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not become faint. And I would just encourage you today, if you're finding that life has really got you down and you're just tired and worn out and stressed out and overwhelmed, maybe it's time to stop, put your hope in the Lord, receive this renewing of strength. And when it's time to soar, He'll allow you to soar on wings like eagles. When it's time to run, you'll be able to run and not become weary. And in those times of walking, you'll walk and not be faint. But you'll always be with Him. And He'll be guiding and leading and directing your paths. And He'll provide everything you need. He'll be your source. So think about the birds.